Welcome to Gumball Love. I'm Melissa Ledger, professional relationship coach, creator of Gumball Love and the Back to You Academy. If you're ready to stop the cycle of toxic men, get through the breakup once and for all, and finally get back to you, you are in the right place. This journey is about healing your heart, and you are encouraged to take the pace that is just right for you. In the process, you will build a foundation of confidence and strength that will make you unshakable, I promise. So get ready to level up your mindset and your lifestyle as you awaken the seeds of greatness just waiting to burst into full bloom. Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of Gumball Love. I'm your host, Melissa Ledger. All right, today we're going to talk about the Yellow Gumball. So I started a Gumball series, several months back, and then I got interrupted, did a bunch of more episodes, but I want to come back to the colors of the Gumballs. So just a quick reminder, and I'll do the reminders at the beginning of the episodes, it's actually all of the colors, the primary colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and then we have white and pink. And I worked on this to really develop categories of the different flavors of attention that we can be looking for with different Gumball guys. You will notice that most Gumball guys want at least 2 or 3 of the flavors, if not all of the flavors. So I don't want you to get caught up in, my guy's a red Gumball guy or my guy's a yellow Gumball guy, because you're going to find crossover. But I just want you to have these general categories in mind so that you can start to identify the symptoms a little bit more easily. So just to kind of give you a recap, the red Gumball is about sex. So the first 2 I did were about sex and drama. So the red Gumball is all about when things come back to sex, porn, strip clubs, prostitutes, talking about threesomes, always wanting you to send a sexy picture, all those kinds of things that come back to it being hot and being about sex, compliments about your body. Are you into friends with benefits? Everything, it's like they always bring it back to sex. And, guys are a lot of times very sexual, and it's okay once you've established the foundation, once you have mutual respect, then these comments as they come up aren't as obvious. But I'm talking about the guys that kind of lead with this, the ones that are talking to you about this, right away in online dating, or it just kind of feels like you can't really get too deep on any subject. They come back to sex. Orange is drama. So the guy that storms out, stonewalls, picks fights, compliments other women in your presence, or tries to punish you when you don't do what he wants, then it creates the drama, right? He picks on you for small things. He calls you crazy. He says things that like you're high maintenance or calls you names, anything to stir up that intensity or the drama. So today we're going to focus on the Yellow Gumball. And this one I have is entertain me. So when he asks for the Yellow Gumball, I think it's actually the one that annoys me the most. It's also one that I tend to attract the guy that likes this Gumball the best. And what I mean by entertain me is this guy is usually not able to focus his attention for a long period of time on something you are doing or someone else is doing. He's not able to invest in someone else, to be there for a friend through a long story or through a whole ordeal. They will act bored at social events. So you take them, hey, let's go to my cousin's basketball game. And so they go and they're on their phone and they are irritable. They are like, how long is this gonna be? And we aren't going anywhere after, right? And you're like, well, actually, we're gonna go to dinner. Oh, do we have to go to dinner? It's like everything is an irritation. Oh, we have to do this and what I realized is Gumball guys don't invest in other people. So they don't go out of their way. They don't help other people. They don't care about, things that they need. And so this is very foreign to them. All conversations tend to be about him or things he's interested in. So when it's something you're interested in, you feel like you have a limited amount of time that you can discuss it. He gets bored and changes the subject, so you feel rushed. This guy gets moody, and so you feel like when you're in the situations, you'll find yourself, let's go back to that basketball game. Let's say you're going to a family member's basketball game or a friend or whatever. You're supporting someone, you're sitting in the stands, and you'll have that feeling like, if I wish I could just get somebody that he could talk to or he can connect with. You feel like you have to keep him entertained. And you'll do this at other social gatherings too. You will, you'll find yourself, okay, we're going to go here for a holiday or just a birthday party or something. And then you'll be like, okay, I know this could be boring. And then he gets awkward. And a lot of times these guys will pick fights with you, or they'll act like they're sick before the event so they don't have to go because there's no entertainment for them. So you have to find ways to make sure they're pacified at each event, because they won't just sit there and take it in and enjoy it and be fine without having to be entertained. So I remember thinking about this when I was at my little sister's wedding. We went to Colorado and we spent 3 days there and getting ready for the wedding. It was very busy. And I was just noticing how every guy around was just all participating. I was just thinking how nice that is to have everyone focused. Nobody's acting like they need to be entertained. Everybody was engaged in the event and focused on the festivities that were surrounding the couple getting married, right? And that's how it should be. We should be able to separate ourselves from our own lives and be able to focus, and not only be able to, but actually enjoy doing it instead of it being some kind of a chore. You don't go somewhere to be entertained. We're not hanging out with friends to be entertained. We're hanging out with friends because we enjoy their company. We enjoy sharing our lives with them. They share their lives with us. And it's that even exchange. And you have laughs and you are enjoying each other's company. You enjoy their personalities, their perspectives. This is what we should be doing with friends, right? And so, but this is a foreign concept to him. And so I hope that this is setting you free right off the bat, because so many of us are entertaining these guys. We're spending all this time in these relationships. And when you feel like, oh my God, he's bored. I used to think, oh, is my family boring? Is this person irritating? Is this too much to expect of him? Like, no, this isn't too much to expect. This is life. And I want you to go back to previous episodes, knowing your value and also understanding that, yeah, every family member isn't perfect. Every family event is not going to be riveting and exciting. Sometimes they're going to be boring. But why can't you just sit there and be a little bit bored, but also be content? That, yes, it's not the most exciting place, but this is what we do. This is family. These are friends. These are the things that happen in life. So you also, I'm just looking at my list here. They don't want to do anything, but they still want to be entertained. Oh, this is like the worst one. It's like the perfect example of this is if a Gumball Guy is watching what he wants to be watching on TV and you are doing something else, even in the same room, he doesn't like it. You are looking at your phone while he's watching his show. He doesn't like that. What are you doing? Who are you texting? What are you looking at? Oh, I'm just looking at blah, blah, blah. Oh, and then, well, are we going to eat? Yeah, what do you want? I don't know. Wow, what are you looking at that for so long? It's like, what? And then you want to be like, you get in these conversations. Well, why do you care? You're watching your show. Do you need me for something? No. God, why do you have to be such a bitch? It's like, I'm not being a bitch. Do you feel it already? Have you been in this conversation? So they can't just do their thing. You do your thing in the same room. I remember saying to my boyfriend, is it weird that I just want to sit in the same room with you and read a book? I remember telling them this early on. He was like, no, that's amazing. I was like, right? It is amazing, because not only can you can be together, you are sharing intimacy because you are in the same room and you're doing the same thing, but you could be reading two completely different books. But two people who can just be themselves, focusing on their own thing, but be together, it's a beautiful thing because you don't need them to entertain you. I'm entertaining myself with this book. I don't need you to entertain me. And so, but it's almost impossible to read a book or listen to music or do anything in their presence because they want you to be focused on them. Even if you do nothing but just look at what they're looking at, that is sometimes enough. Now, I don't mean that you should never do that. Of course, you want to be able to, or you want to be sharing in things together and watching the same shows together. That's fine. But when you cannot do anything by yourself, or if you leave the room, he wants you in the room. And it's always focus on me. I need you to be entertaining me. I need you to be focused on me. So I know this one resonates really big time. The other one I call the fussy baby syndrome. And if you were in person, I would put my lips up. Like everything, just nothing is good enough. It's like the room's always too hot, or it's too cold, or I'm hungry, or I'm full, or I don't feel good, or the music's too loud, or the music's not loud enough, or wherever they are, whatever they're doing, there's always a fussy situation. I have an uncle who is he's a ginormous fussy baby. He's like 6'5" and ginormous, and he's just the biggest baby ever. We were all out on the boat one time, and he was this and that and this and that. And I got so frustrated. I was like, would you shut up and quit complaining for 5 freaking minutes? I just kind of like got to this point. I was like so pissed. And he just looked at me. I go, you're bitching nonstop. Like, shut up. Can you just sit there and not complain? Just for 5 minutes. I'm going to time you to see if you can do it. And then he was like, he didn't know what to say because he realized it was like trying to contain this volcanic force of fussy baby syndrome. It was like, God, you're just like a little kid over there. I mean, you're on a boat, you're in the sun, you can get in the water, there's drinks, there's food. I mean, it should be lovely for most people, but not for a gumball guy who's a fussy baby. And so it gets really I'm irritated thinking about it right now because I just don't have these guys around me anymore. And I just think of all the crap I used to deal with. And if you're dealing with this, I'm here to reveal to you that you're dealing with a lot of crap and you shouldn't have to. This is not what a relationship should present you with constant fussy babies. So this is when I used to, sometimes when it's a family member, not somebody you're not romantically attracted to, you can very clearly lay out how they're acting like a giant little girl that needs, it's like, do you want your dolly? Do you want your teddy bear? Would you like your blankie? What's the matter? It's like, oh my God, it's so irritating. So when you realize they're actually asking, can you give me a gumball? Somebody realized that I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. Oh God, what else is wrong? Like when they're acting like that and you call them out, oh, they get pissed. So don't do this to a guy that's violent because then like the realization, the self-awareness will, momentarily pop in, but won't stay with them long term. And then they get pissed because they realize that you're right. And then they want to do the very thing that you just pointed out. And it creates, as my sister says, a whole kerfluffle, and they don't know what to do with themselves. However, for you, what this means is that you are now aware of this. You can observe this behavior and you can be like, oh God, this is a yellow gumball guy. This is the yellow gumball. He wants to be entertained. And all of a sudden, that guy who's super hot, that you were like, oh my God, he's amazing, is now gross to you because you won't want to try to entertain him. You're not going to get out the pacifier and satisfy the fussy baby. You're going to see a fussy baby, and then those luscious lips or the great hair or the amazing smell that he had is now going to be gone. And you will very easily walk away from a guy, especially when you see this early on. This is the gift I want to give to you, that you can see this stuff early on and you're not falling in love with someone. But even if you have fallen in love and you start to notice this behavior consistently, it will also make it very easy for you to walk away. So fussy baby syndrome. One of the other symptoms of this is just low effort. And low effort is so common with guys in online dating. It's the how letter R, letter U, lowercase too. It's always like, yeah, don't hit the uppercase button. I'd hate to, have you overexert yourself with punctuation. I've been with my guy almost a year. We still text each other with proper capitalization, punctuation. We're both anal about it, but it's like we put in the effort. There's no one letter words. Quit it. And if you're doing it, knock it off. No, I'm just kidding. But like, especially in the beginning, come on, let's make full sentences. It's not like, we're not doing it with 15-pound dumbbells hooked to our hands. So the low effort guy though, he's like, hey, what's up? How are you? How you been? What you been up to? And then you're like, oh yeah, I did. Had a busy weekend, blah, 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 blah. And you write a paragraph and he's like, cool. Especially when they spell it. Wait, I can't even think of it. Like cool, no, how do you spell cool? Kewl. Cool. Or something stupid. And there's no effort. And you're looking at it like, okay. And so then you're tempted to then ask him a question. How was your weekend? It was pretty good. Didn't do too much. Okay. So allow yourself to be completely turned off. It's low effort because he is saying, entertain me. You provide the red or the yellow gumballs, and I will sit here. I always imagine them in a really gross situation. Like, how are you? What's up? I picture them on the toilet when it's low effort. Just do whatever you have to do. Like, really? Are you, you dropping a number 2 and writing me text with 1-letter words? Like, gross. You're disgusting. Or I'll picture them like laying on the couch, like watching football, kind of like barely holding their phone and then watching the game. Like, that's what that low effort feels like. Either be engaged and talk to me and have a real conversation, or I'm not into you. And I used to be so hard on myself thinking, oh, you're being too picky. Not every guy is going to be like this. Yeah, not every guy is like this, but I need a guy that talks to me and communicates, and I need brain power. I used to say this so much before I met my love, and I can't tell you, I literally tell him I love his brain every day because it's so amazing to be with someone smarter than me. I've always said this. I want someone smarter than me. I want someone that challenges me. Although I'll tell you, when you get what you ask for, sometimes being challenged and having someone that is smarter, that can outsmart you, and that also you cannot dominate, I love it. But then sometimes it is frustrating because, I've had some really big moments where I was so stupid. I've misspelled words that are like, oh my God, how did I not know this word? Do you guys want to know the word that I have thought? And, please write me a message if you thought this too, because we've made this a huge joke. But I was talking about planning my little sister's wedding, Kayla's wedding. And I was like, I was the ministaner, if those of you are friends of fans, but I was the officiant of the wedding. And so I'm telling him what's going on. And I said, yeah, then when they say their nuptials, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, what did you just say? I said, the nuptials. And he was like, the nuptials? I'm like, yeah, nuptials. He's like, nuptials? It's nuptials. And I was like, well, isn't it called a prenup? Like prenuptial agreement. No, it is not called that. It's called prenuptial, not nuptial. So, and I still want to say it the old way. And so anyway, it's stuff like that where, he just will pick up on those things. And there are, many spaces in my public school education that need to be filled in. So, but what I'm saying is I so appreciate the brain power. I so appreciate those things. And now I forgot why I was telling you guys this. Oh, we were talking about low effort and how I used to say I wanted these things, and I would be out there dating, and then I would meet these guys that were just, so disappointing. And then I would question, is this important? And so when you find the guy that you're supposed to be with, you'll be like, yes, these are all the things that I need. And I should have been more picky, and I should have said, I'm going to have this, and I'm going to wait for this. I'm going to hold out. I'm not going to settle. It becomes so obvious why we shouldn't settle when we find the person we're supposed to be with. And I just cannot stress that enough. So as you're sitting there across from Mr. Low Effort, Fussy Baby, you feel pressure to come up with ideas of what you should do. You feel like you're the boring one when he doesn't want to do anything, but he still wants to be entertained. So you feel like you're just running around, and then he's moody. Then you're worried about why he's moody. No, you don't have to do any of that. That is I mean, when you say these Gumball Guy symptoms to a good dude, they're like, oh, yeah, screw that guy. I mean, they can't even conceive of the idea of trying to have a relationship with this type of person. It's very obvious that this person is, they're impossible to please. And so, of course, this kind of gumball is perfect for those of us that are people pleasers because we are very accommodating. We are very easy to get along with. We're gonna, and what we do? We fluff his pillow, we powder his butt, we get him his pacifier. We do treat him like a little baby because he is one. And so, and this is where you get the bitter feeling about guys. And this is when that edge comes on you because you get annoyed. And then you start thinking, all men are like this because you deal with enough of them and you're like, what is wrong with men? No, it's what is wrong with little fussy gumball guys, little fussy babies that want your gumball. I need my gumball because I can't sit in the same room and watch my show. If you're texting someone, I feel insecure. I have a tiny wiener. It's like, sorry about your wiener, buddy. I can't be your entertainment. And boy, I started saying stuff like this just out of frustration. I can't be your entertainment. You're going to have to entertain yourself. Or can you watch your show and I text someone and you're okay over there? Oh, they're like, yeah, God, you're so mean. And then you can start saying, yeah, sometimes I am mean. You can't handle that either. Do you see how the disrespect starts to breed in a relationship? Because when they start acting like this and you stand up for yourself, and then you also don't allow the insults to bother you, like you start to not care, that's when the relationship is over. Because I could never talk to my guy. You cannot talk to someone you actually love and respect like this. Never. I mean, I can't even imagine having that kind of harsh tone because when you find someone you love and you respect, the respect is what keeps this all intact. And also someone that respects you, respects your time, respects your work, respects what you're doing. And so I can't tell you how nice it is when I say, oh, this is my boss calling, or hey, I have to go to this meeting. Okay, do your thing. I'll talk to you later. If I have a work thing, I don't even hear from them. It's like if I say, hey, I need to work on this for a couple of hours, I don't hear anything. It's like total respect for what I do and my passions, my work, everything. It's just going to be a completely different experience. So I know it can sound funny dealing with this because hopefully I've made you laugh. I want to make you laugh through this too because I want you to hear how ridiculous these guys are. So just to kind of do a quick review, we have the sex gumball, which is red. And I know these are hard to remember, so you don't have to necessarily remember the colors of the gumballs. But if you don't remember any colors of any gumballs, all you have to remember is it's a flavor of attention. What kind of attention does he want? So if you don't remember anything, just think of that. Okay, he wants attention. What does he want from me right now? Does he want sex? Does he want drama? Is he trying to pick a fight? Because drama is also intensity. So intensity kind of comes in all of these a little bit. So the gumball is that intense sugar rush from each flavor of attention. So again, sex is red. I try to make that hot. Drama, I tried to make like a fire color of orange. The yellow gumball is entertainment. So I try to think of yellow and happy and entertaining and things like, I don't know, yellow, carnival, whatever. So if you want to think of yellow and carnival or however you can put these in your mind so that you can think, yeah, I'm not going to make it a carnival for you. I'm not going to give you yellow gumballs. I'm not going to give you the fire that comes with drama. And then I colored the competition gumball or compete with her for me, the green with envy. He wants you to be envious of other women. He wants you to compete with other women for him. So I will go over that one in the next episode, but just think of that like competition with other women is the guy that brings up the ex, or he's still married and he's saying he's going to leave her. He's the cheater who brings in other women, or he's looking at other women and you are noticing them, or he's like, oh man, she's got a nice ass. And you're thinking, really? and then you start to feel bad about yourself. That is, and we do feel bad about ourselves because who wouldn't? I mean, I want you to know too, just because you react to these things and you give the gumball, it's our natural reaction to be agreeable, to be a peacemaker, to be a pleaser. I think a lot of people are naturally inclined to make things happy, to make things easy. Just like my fussy, giant Gumball Guy baby uncle who is on the boat. Can you tell how much I don't like him? But, like it just like that kind of irritating, everybody was trying to accommodate. Everybody was trying to do something to make his giant fussy ass all happy on the boat. I mean, it's just because people they're like, oh, something's wrong. Let me help you. No one thinks, you know what, dude? You've had enough little pacifiers and people offering you your butt powdered and your pillow fluffed. Enough. You need to sit there and shut up. And no one obviously no one tells people this because we're not thinking of it. We're not thinking, wow. I mean, trust me, a lot of people are thinking, geez, what a whiner, what a complainer, like he's irritating. People don't want to be around someone like that. And you'll find that people that are healthy, stable, and lovely, they typically don't have those kinds of people around unless they're family, clearly, which in this group is exactly why he was there. So anyway, yeah, and that kind of, when that type of relative I have learned, so-and-so going to be there, and I think about it, and I'll be like, well, maybe I'll show up late to that event so I don't have to endure so much because my awareness is so high and so easily irritated by that kind of person that I'll go in a little late, or I will just completely avoid. See, I used to know about it, and then I would try to confront it, and then I would try to call it out. But I will tell you, I've learned that even though I have all the comebacks, and it's really fun to tell them to shut the F up on the boat, which actually was still fun in my memory, but then I exerted all that energy just to put him in his place. And I do still recall the look on his face, and it is gratifying, I'm not going to lie. But then it made it awkward for everyone else for a few moments, although I think a lot of people thanked me. No, there is a payoff, but then there's also that exertion of energy, that irritation, and then it's awkward, and then I've compromised my own peace to just call one Gumball Guy out who's never going to change. He's probably being a fussy baby right now somewhere. God help his girlfriend. But I always look at the girlfriends and be like, oh my God, how do they do it? But it's not going to help me by doing that. You can exert. So I either don't go, or I just completely avoid the rooms that they're in. And I focus on, a lot of times I'll just focus on kids. Go into the room where all the kids are playing. Hey, what are you guys doing? You want to play a game? Kids are always happy when an adult participates, and get out a board game or play hide and seek with them or throw the ball, whatever. Just go escape to kids if you can, or to very lovely, calm people that aren't going to get pulled into the drama. We have to also keep ourselves away from those types of people. So go to the people that do not need to be entertained at all. That'll just say, hey, so where do you work now? And they'll actually listen to where you work and what you do. And they're not in a rush, and they're just calm, and they learn about your job for a while. And then you're like, well, tell me what you do. Do you like that? Yeah. How long have you been doing that? Get to know people. I used to be so focused on entertaining Gumball people that I would sit at an event and be like, oh, I really never even talked to that person. And because you're such a Gumball giver that you're not even experiencing the people that are actually worth your time. So this is actually kind of a good time to start talking about this as you spend time around relatives more over the holiday season. You can kind of start thinking about, okay, who really deserves my time? Who do I want to invest in? Maybe one of your relatives married someone and you don't really know them that well. Go get to know them instead of talking to your Gumball relative. Stop giving gumballs. When they put in the quarter, don't give the gumball. I'm hot. I'm cold. Not your problem. It is not your problem to heat up their food, cool down their food, control the temperature. Too bad. Don't even act like it's something you're even going to acknowledge, and maybe you need to say it to yourself in advance. I am not going to respond to any requests. I am going to enjoy this day And if so-and-so is hungry, thirsty, sleepy, or any of the seven dwarves, sleepy, I can't even think of the seven dwarves' names. My memory is like so bad lately. I can't think of very obvious words. Now I need to look up the seven dwarves. Why do I do this to myself? It's like, what are the seven dwarves? Let's look up the seven dwarves. Seven dwarves are, here we go. Who are the seven dwarves? Okay. Grumpy, dopey, doc, happy, bashful, sneezy, and sleepy. So we're not gonna, I can't even believe I forgot this in my list. Sleepy. See? It was good that we looked up the seven dwarves. Sleepiness is something that the gumball person that wants to be entertained will do. You're talking to them and they do that thing where they close their eyes and then open them. And they're like, and they just kind of close their eyes. Or they yawn while everyone yawns, but I hate the closed mouth yawn. If you've been on this podcast long enough, I hate that. So, but they will be sleepy. And then when they're entertained, all of a sudden, not sleepy anymore. It's weird how that fatigue goes away when they're focused on something they want to talk about. So yeah, they'll be grumpy. That's another one. Maybe they are the dwarves. Like, I'm in a bad mood. I'm irritated. The person who wants to be entertained, I want to make sure this isn't the grumpiness. Grumpiness gets into the blue gumball, which I have the blues, and I want pity. So yeah, grumpiness is probably going to go into more of the pity. But also if I'm grumpy, I can be grumpy at an event, and then people will go, "What's the matter?" And then, "Well, I just had a really hard day, and I'm just going through a lot." "Oh, well, let me entertain you. So let me make you happy. Let me help you." So it can fall under pity, but pity is a whole nother gumball. So I'll go through. So the next one after this week will be about competing with other women. Then there's the guy. I dated a guy who almost exclusively requested blue gumballs. He was the most depressed guy I think I've ever met. And it was always something that was getting him down. He would always listen to sad music. I mean, he really committed to being depressed. And I always felt like I was trying to make him happy, but I was always acknowledging the pity. And then there's the purple gumball, which has no correlation to being chased, but I only had so many colors. The chase me gumball, where he ghosts you and then he comes back. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" He likes to be chased, but he's hot and cold. That's the purple gumball. If you can figure out a way that connects to purple, I will love you a long time. And then there's the pink gumball, the guy that wants to be adored, that wants the compliments. It's fishing for compliments. He's the guy that sends you the random selfie for like no reason. I had a guy do this in New York City. He sent me a picture of himself at his desk with no caption, just was such like a weird angle, kind of down low. And then he had an operator style headset on at his desk. I'm like, "What are you doing?" I thought he was supposed to be some ad agency executive. Like, dude, you look like you're in a tiny cubicle. This is not really fitting what you have on your LinkedIn profile. And I didn't respond because I was actually boarding a train. And then he sent me a picture of him as a little kid. And we hadn't even gone on one date. I just remember thinking, what does this guy want? Well, he wanted to hear how cute he was. He's like, "Am I not the cutest?" I was like, oh my God, you just said what you wanted. So he wanted pink gumballs. Adore me. So it goes down a whole track that. So these are the next podcasts upcoming. And then the last one is prove yourself to me. So this is the guy that's always skeptical. He has trust issues, and you feel like, you're kind of starting with the guy that's, I've really just come out of a bad relationship, which have you done this? I just came out of a relationship. I have trust issues. I don't really know. We can't do this to people. We cannot ask, "Hey, you that have nothing to do with my past, I want you to prove that you're not like everyone else that you haven't met that's been in my life prior to you, that you have no idea of any context or awareness of what that was. But I need you to prove that you're not like that." And you know what that feels like. There's this ghost of someone there in the past. And I've been guilty of this. And so I've even called myself out on it. Like, okay, this is where I'm asking you to prove, or I'm asking you to work overtime or tell me something. Like, I'm feeling insecure about the relationship right now, so I need you to overcompensate and go above and beyond what you would normally do because of my insecurity. And look, it's okay to ask your partner for things that are extra. Of course, when you love them, you're like, what do you need? I'll do anything. But we don't want to abuse that. I mean, when this came up for me early in my relationship, my guy was always willing to talk me through anything. He would be willing to be there for me in any way and listen to anything. But as he was so gracious, I thought, I really can't do this to him because this is my deal and I have to own it. I have to be the one that works through this. And if there's something I really want to ask, then I can. But I can tell you, after I really worked through it on my own and went through a lot of anxiety because of the past, because these gremlins come up, because as you fall in love, and this is something that's important to remember with your gumball guys, because ladies, we have this issue too. The gumball guy, if we've attracted the gumball guy, chances are we have a little gumball girl in us because we are in need of that intense sugar high because that's what we've always gotten from the gumball guy. So when we're with a guy that's like committed and he's not questioning the relationship and he's in it for the long haul, so he doesn't go out of his way to reassure you because he doesn't feel like the reassuring doesn't fit with true love. It's like, why do you need to be reassured? You should know that I love you and I'm here for you. And so that reassuring feels unnatural in a solid relationship. But we are accustomed to that when we are in a gumball relationship. And so that is something that we have to work through. But I will tell you that when you're used to this with gumball guys, this is the transition that I'm explaining to you over and over in these different podcasts. You will transition away from gumball love relationships into real relationships that are built with unconditional love. Gumball love is just conditional love. If I had to rename it and someone took away my title, I would say conditional love. So when you look at the flavors of all this attention, this is, I love you if you are giving me compliments. I love you if you are creating excitement and entertainment. When you think about when guys bring in other women, that's just them being entertained, or they get an extra high because now two women are into them. And especially if they're fighting over him, that's even a greater high. So now it's not about the connection, it's about the gumball. And so when you remove all of these things, it can feel flat. And so we have to be careful. We're not asking for these same things. So I can't ask my guy, can you prove yourself to me? Because he proves himself every day by showing up every day, by checking in, by calling, by asking about my day. Just it's a constant investment, right? So that's the proof that's him proving himself to me. But when I need something more, I'm asking for a gumball. I'm saying, give me a sugar high, because this steady diet of healthy, solid meat and potatoes and vegetables that you're giving, I need a little dessert. And like I said, it's okay. Everyone needs a little dessert. It's not like, look, we can throw gumballs in all day long. I mean, but I feel like even with sex, it's not going to be a gumball. Like, yes, it's a high and a rush, but even with sex, you're going to have more, that's going to be more of a connection than it is just about the validation that comes with sex. And the drama is going to come from life itself. It's not going to come from you picking fights. And the entertainment is in all of the ways that life should entertain us naturally. There's so much entertainment out there. But when we do not like ourselves, we're constantly looking for that sugar high or drug to make ourselves feel better. And so that's what I want you to be able to recognize in these guys. They want to feel better, and they want you to constantly give them the drug because that's what they're addicted to. And once you see the addict, and once you see what he needs, and this is his color of choice, whatever flavor of attention that he wants, and you can see that as a pattern, that's, my therapist always tells me, when you notice behavior and it becomes a predictable pattern, that's when you know there's an issue. And so when I first met my guy, I was always, I was looking for any of the red flags, right? And I could come up with no predictable patterns. I could not come up with anything. I would have all the worries, but because I journal, I would come back and I would journal, okay, you have all these anxieties, but they're coming from previous relationships. And so I would journal it out and I could produce no evidence. So that's what you want to be able to be looking at these signs and say, okay, what is the evidence that this exists in this relationship? And if you can't produce evidence, then you might, and you like the guy, then you might have a good one where you want to really start investing. So I hope this helps. There's so many topics in my head. I could go on and on for literally hours, but I'm going to cut this here at the Yellow Gumball of Entertain Me. So if you have questions, you can always reach out to me. Melissa@gumballlove.com is my email address, and you can reach me on Instagram at the Melissa Ledger, or on, I would just prefer those two if you don't mind, Instagram DMs or email direct, because Facebook DMs, it's so weird on a business page. So sometimes I don't get the notifications. So I just prefer email me directly would be the ideal. So that was a lot, and a little bit animated about my giant fussy baby uncle, which he'll never listen to this podcast because my podcast is the worst thing that a gumball guy could ever listen to. It's like a constant diagnosis, a big fat mirror they would never be able to handle. So anyway, girl, it's so nice to be able to connect with you. It feels like we're just talking on the phone, and I love the intimacy of a podcast. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you spending the time to listen and listen all the way through. And I do read every single message. So if you send me something, I will respond. And if for some reason I don't, be like, hey, you told me to remind you if I didn't respond, because sometimes messages get marked read that weren't read, but it's pretty rare. So I should get back to you. All right. So that's it. The Yellow Gumball. Entertain me. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more information or to schedule a private coaching session, or better yet, to join the next Back to You Academy, go to gumballllove.com. If you loved this podcast, I would love for you to share it with your friends. And if you really loved it, a 5-star review is the best compliment you can give. Remember, you are enough, you are right where you should be, and the only thing you have to do is keep going. I'll leave you with my favorite quote by Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined. Until next time, I'll see you soon.